Activate.
All right, everybody. Welcome to This Pink Cloud. I am DJ Kelly Reverb. I am an RSPS, which is a recovery support peer specialist.
Yeah.
So important.
Whatever.
Yeah, right. Be sure, like, subscribe, all that good stuff to the show. You just trying out new stuff today.
Why not, dude? Why not?
But anyway, that is our good friend that you hear over there, Mr. Chad Lamons, everybody.
Hey, Chad. Hey, Chad. How you doing, Chad?
Hi-ho, Chad.
Hello. Hi. Hey. Hey, everybody at home. Hey, hello.
Chad could just do a
Hey,
podcast
everybody in your car.
where he just talks to himself.
Hello. Hey.
As different people.
I just want to say I'm super happy to be here tonight, and it's during the day, even though I said night, and I'm so happy to be here still, regardless of what time of day.
All right, we are excited to have you and all your multiple personalities here.
Multiple pathways equal multiple personalities. That's how we should say this from now on.
That is right. We are a judgment-free zone, so I will reserve from judging you for the fact that you were fucking late today.
I will reserve the fact from judging you because you are old and you need to shit in diaper.
Okay, well, and we'll go ahead and look past the fact that you're fat.
Diaper.
That you're fat.
Yeah, dude. Are we just gonna turn this into this?
And then you have
fucking piece of shit, dude.
And then you have a chin girdle on, dude. Chin Spanx, dude. Let's get a close up there.
All right, let's get a close up of that beard right there.
Chin Spanx.
Are you boys see that? You girls see that? Yeah.
Anyway, thanks for coming in, Chad.
Fucking asshole.
Man, I love you, brother.
Chin Spanx, dude.
Chin Spanx.
That's
I
good.
love that. It's good.
Dude.
I'm excited to have this young lady. We had to reschedule with her because of an illness the other week, and that happens.
It was real. It wasn't fake.
It's life on life's terms, right?
Yeah.
Right, brother?
Yeah. Right,
but I'm excited to have this young lady, Katie Scott from Red Zeppelin.
Yes.
And what's the other part? Oh, wait. Don't step. Yeah, don't step on the hallelujah.
I'm elevating.
There you
Nice.
go.
There you go.
With this lighting and that,
I
I'm
know.
just like, where am
That was
I?
Yeah, man.
You
That was
definitely
beautiful.
went to
is
like fourth density,
is this
right?
heaven?
Or fourth dimension.
Fourth density.
Is it-
Fourth dimension.
Sorry, you have to excuse my grandfather. He misspeaks sometimes.
He misspeaks sometimes. Was it? Okay. Whatever, Chin Spanx. Shut up.
Oh, man.
I can only think that heaven would be really fun with Chad.
Hell
Yeah.
yeah.
You would just play blue all the time.
What?
Dabba dee, dabba da.
Dabba dee, dabba da. Yeah, because your hair, dude.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah, man.
feeling blue today.
It
I wore
blue as fuck.
I'm in all blue today.
Oh, yeah.
And then
And
you've
we got the blue lights.
Yeah.
I
It's
like
a
that.
vibe.
I
It's a
like
vibe.
I
It
like
is a vibe.
Blue is actually my favorite color.
Is it?
It is.
I used to hate it for the longest time, and I finally
Well, obviously
embraced it.
you've embraced
I
it.
fully
Right?
turned around. I accidentally dyed my hair blue.
Okay.
It wasn't on purpose.
Right.
And then I just
Just went with it.
I went with it. And
Just
I- and
lean
I,
into
and I
it.
feel like it resonates with me.
Okay.
There you go,
So
man.
What was your favorite color prior to that?
I was red for a long time.
You
like
know,
a
I
variety
like-
of red.
I liked red as well, but then, red and blue, purple,
yeah.
it's a happy
it was purple.
medium.
Well, and I still have
Yeah.
purple underneath.
Okay.
So
Fair enough.
so Red Zeppelin Records.
Hold on
Yeah.
a second. What's
Yeah.
the record store called?
Red Zeppelin
Yeah.
Records.
Chad's got
representing.
Chad's got the merch. There we go.
He's got the hookup.
There we go.
So yeah, I've got Red Zeppelin Records and the Groovy Coop, and they're in downtown McKinney.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
and we'll get to how
All
how you got to there, but we always like to hear a little bit of your backstory, and obviously you're in recovery,
Yeah.
like we all are
Yeah.
here. So why don't you start us off with the backstory?
Where you want to start? You want to start at the beginning? I was born on a Friday.
Hell
What,
yeah,
what
dude.
sign? What sign are you?
I'm a Virgo.
Okay.
I'm a Virgo. Very
And
much a Virgo.
What's your moon water sign?
Yeah, I was gonna say.
So
moon.
my moon is Sag and my rising is Taurus. So I'm very earth and fire. If you want to go
Mercury
that
is
way,
super in
I
retrograde
can
right
talk,
now
I can
just
talk
because
woo
of
woo
that.
all day. So Yeah, but no, I'm from East Texas, so I was born in Longview. If you know where
Okay,
that
yeah, of course.
town
Shout out Longview.
Yeah, lots of piney trees and lots of other kinds of needles out there.
Oh, well, hey now.
Out there too.
Right.
And I probably will disclose to you guys some stuff I've never even talked about before.
Okay,
so
feel free. Like I said, judgment-free
safe
zone.
space.
Yeah, safe space.
Like I said, the blue lighting and the fake plants, I feel very at ease.
Right. Unless the only thing I advise you is do not, criminalize
Don't
yourself.
incriminate
yourself.
Oh,
yeah.
no.
Right.
Somehow,
if you need to use the word allegedly, you can feel free to do that.
I have never been arrested.
Oh, wow.
Somehow
Okay.
I am
Congratulations.
alive. I have never been arrested. Like, these are just miracles at
Right.
this point. So something.
Shout out never being arrested.
Shout out to not being arrested.
Right.
Because there were times.
Right.
But I'm from East Texas. I grew up there. I had a very, what would be considered, leave it to Beaver kind of life. My parents were still married, middle upper class. No reason to be like whammy, but
yeah, isn't that a kind of a weird thing? Like when your parents are still together, you're like, you're like the minority now, you know.
Well, and I've always been kind of the black sheep of the family, and I say that in an endearing way.
Sure.
I don't know. That's just I've always been that way. But when you're from East Texas in the 80s and 90s, it was hard. I didn't fit in, but I had to fit in. My mom wanted me to fit in. And this is no hate on my mom. I understand, like, now that I'm older, looking back, why, things were done the way they were done.
Well, like, and like the punk scene in Longview is like 2 people or 3 people.
There's no fucking punk scene. Well, and if so, I wouldn't be exposed to it. I wasn't allowed to hang out with those kids.
The punk scene was you and a Minor Threat cassette. Like,
yeah, exactly.
In a parking lot.
Finally, I'll get to that, but like finally, by the time I was a junior, I started getting into punk music.
Oh, okay.
But in East Texas, it takes about 2 more months, and it goes to Dallas, and then it takes a while to go to East Texas.
To migrate, yes.
Yeah, so we're out there. I was listening to stuff way later than other people.
Right.
But
and you were falling in love with David Byrne.
With David Byrne. I mean, if you want to go way back in the days, so I think I told you the story over the phone, but one of my first crushes was David Byrne, and this was like at the age of 4, so that's already not normal.
Do you know like the Stop Making Sense video, like where the guy's wearing the oversized suit and he's doing the same as it ever was?
Yeah.
No.
Okay, well, look it up. Because it's worth it, because that guy was her crush at 4. So like normally it's like, oh, I'm crushing on Superman or something like that.
Yeah, or like Simon Le Bon.
Simon Le Bon.
Something normal.
And then she's like David Byrne.
Once in a Lifetime came on the music video.
Oh,
you know what I'm
yeah,
talking
I
about?
have. Yes, I have seen that.
And it was so avant-garde at the time to my little brain, and I thought he was just so cool, and he was very sweaty, and it didn't make sense, and I loved that. And then I told him another crush I had was Susanna Hoffs from the Bangles. So that was kind of my beginning of my awakening and weirdness as a child. We grew up with MTV, so we could visually see the people that were playing, which is really cool. So anyways,
if you had cable. I didn't have cable.
Apparently my husband, so when I bring up music video, like, so now we have it all the time. And so he leaves it on all the time because he can finally
So
watch.
he can catch up and acclimate.
Which, it sucks, though, because they have, like, the same videos on repeat. So it'll be, like, Dio, like, Holy Diver. Like, we've seen that, like, 5 million times.
Right.
Like, unnecessary.
Right.
But, and no shame to Dio.
Shout out.
Shout out to Dio.
Shout out Dio.
Shout out RJD. There we go.
But yeah, I grew up in East Texas, and so I was kind of put in a box when I'm a very unboxed kind of person. And so the minute my hair started to turn brown, my mom got me booked to go get highlights and just fit this mold. And I wore the loafers. Remember the loafers? The Cole Haans. Like, I was dressed like primo. Yeah. And I just wanted to shop at Goodwill and look like scum.
Right.
Like, that's,
right.
Shout out to all my friends that shop at Goodwill.
Shout out.
Come on, scum.
I love Goodwill and Salvation Army.
I mean, that's like, and so that was kind of my formative years were not me being authentic.
Right.
And so that's kind of why I live.
You were
now,
like your mom probably was like, oh, she's gonna be a pageant girl.
Yeah. She had me. They had me in dance, which she also, if you like. Look at me.
Right.
If you see me in sequins and stuff, like these videos and the pictures.
With a hat.
With the red lipstick. Looking like I was no Jean Bonnet, y'all. I was not it.
Right.
But she wanted me to be it. And I think there's probably, you probably have this with your parents, some generational things. Like they weren't allowed to do things. And so they want you to be able to experience the things that they weren't allowed to do.
Right. Yeah. Like every girl wants to be in dance class and be a pageant girl.
But I mean, I didn't want to rock the boat and get into arguments or anything like that. So I just I was a good kid.
Sure.
I did what I was supposed to do. I secretly listened to my punk music in high school and my hip hop and all that stuff. And then I went to college, and shit started to get a little weirder there.
Did you already start drinking like high school?
So no, I didn't drink. I did not drink until I was probably 19.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. Maybe 18. I went to SFA my first year, which is hell on earth.
Oh,
that place
SFA,
sucks.
yeah, but that's the party school too.
It's a party school.
Yeah.
Axum Jacks, like.
Yeah.
It was not my scene.
Okay.
It was not my scene. But
it's more of a bro party school.
It's a bro scene for sure.
Yeah. Let's listen to some bro step.
And I even joined a sorority.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, I had the blonde bob. I had the look.
Right.
And but I was not. It was already starting to cause problems. I was not a conformist. And so I would like pop off to the elder sisters, and they did not like my attitude. And so I quit after,
Did you do the chat? You're not my mom.
I didn't. I don't know if I did that, and I wasn't a party girl yet either. And so I wasn't like fitting in their mold.
Sure.
And it was really toxic. I mean, shocking. Fraternities and sororities are toxic. Holy shit.
Right.
Who'd have thought?
Who would have thought? But they set you up to like have all these horrible things done to you, and I'm like, this is stupid. Like, why are we paying $900 per semester or whatever it was? Right. It was a ton of money.
So you can be mean to me. So you can
like pour honey on me, like what? And flour, like it was fucked up.
Chad and I do that to each other for free.
Yeah.
No, I don't.
That's a good
nice
Friday
guy.
night for Chad.
Right. I'm a nice guy.
Rolling around in honey.
I pour honey on Chad.
He puts hot chili oil all over me, and then I burn. And then he locks me in a crate.
We won't talk about where he's going.
Crate for 6 months.
I put chili and onions on Chad and
chili dog
and
make chili dog
and make himself call himself a big bite.
This is I think this took a left turn.
Sorry,
we're going a little Pulp Fiction gimpy here. But anyway, I quit. I quit after a year. I went back to community college in East Texas for a year.
What is that community college?
It's called Kilgore College.
I have heard of it. Yeah, because the Kilgore Rangerettes.
The Rangerettes, right?
My
dancers.
sister was one. Yes.
Yeah.
She was one.
Well, I mean, it's prestigious. It is prestigious.
Yeah. For drill team, it's the spot.
It's the ultimate. And then they go and do the Macy's parade and they do all the
Holy
whatever.
Shit.
Yeah, a lot of them become Rockettes.
And then in your 50s, you'll have horrible knee problems and hip problems.
Yeah. Exactly. So I went to community college for a while. That's when I started drinking.
Okay.
That's when I started going out in East Texas, which is quite a scene. I mean, it's just like honky tonk music mixed with like Dr. Dre.
Yeah.
So you literally have like Neon Moon, and then they flip it to like California
Neon
Love.
Moon.
Yeah.
And so I lived that life for about a year and a half.
Right.
Met a boyfriend, moved to Denton to go to UNT.
Okay.
And we broke up, and then I was up there for a while.
Right.
That was cool. That was one of my favorite times of life because I was single. I had a cat, and it was just me and my cat, and I worked at the Gap.
Okay.
At the Golden Triangle Mall in Denton.
Right.
And then I went, like I told you, I came down here a lot during the week. I'd come to Cedar Springs and I would just dance to good music. And I loved that period.
Right.
And I was also figuring out a lot of different kinds of music. That's when I got into like my dark wave phase.
Wow.
That's when I started like really going against the grain.
Were you kind of, did you kind of go through a goth period? Would you say?
I mean, as gothy as you can be working at the fucking Gap.
That's true. That's true. Did you at that time, what color was the hair?
It was brown.
Oh, okay. So
yeah, it was
wasn't
like a dark
blonde,
brown.
wasn't pageant blonde,
No.
but wasn't
It was not blue.
Alternate colors.
It was not.
Yes.
It was not. Yeah. And so I was drinking all through college. And I didn't know I had a problem.
Right.
You don't know you have a problem. I should have. There were signs.
Right.
There were a lot of signs now that you look back, and I should have been arrested multiple times. I've done so many things that I don't know what I have looking out for me. But there's a reason I'm still here, and there's a reason that I'm not in prison. But that's also why I advocate for others, and I speak up about this publicly, because I struggled with it for years. I didn't even realize it was a struggle through part of it. And then I did take and I can tell you, we can go back and talk about the 3 times I should have been arrested.
Okay.
But I'll just finish like this story to get to where I am right now.
Okay.
So then when I graduated from college, I had gone and done an internship in North Carolina. I fell in love with it. I loved it there. It was in the mountains.
North Carolina is beautiful.
Yeah, and I was
the Queen City.
I was going to go to grad school out there, get my degree in counseling. My undergrad was in substance abuse counseling. Do you see the irony?
Okay.
The irony that's lining up.
All right.
So
that is kind of strange, though, that you would like, because most people don't usually go out for that to start with.
No,
you know,
I did all the studying before.
I did all the research while I was using.
before I even used anything.
Purposes.
So I get my degree, and the week before I graduate from college, I get a call from my mom saying that they found something, in her, and she was diagnosed with cancer the week I was walking the stage.
Okay.
And so that was kind of a poignant turn in my life. I had already had all these plans in North Carolina to move out there to go to grad school. I already had a roommate. I was so excited.
Right.
Because I wanted to get out of Texas. I wanted to explore. I've always wanted to go out and explore.
Yeah, of course.
And the pressure and the anger that was put on me, because I'm the daughter. When you're the daughter, there are expectations that are put on you.
Sure.
And it was to drop everything and move back.
Okay.
And my first reaction was, I can still be there for her,
right,
and be in another state. I called her every day, multiple times a day.
Now, did you have siblings as well?
Yes.
Okay, so like brothers, sisters,
yes,
or
I
what?
have an older brother.
Okay. But he was doing his thing, and they didn't expect anything from him. But
and
you
that's
were.
And that's kind of the way it was set up, right?
Okay.
Was that's just how he is. That's how he handles things. And there's a lot of those perceptions put on like male and female entities of like, oh well, that he struggles with his emotions. But
right.
I should be there to pick up all the pieces.
Right.
I should be there, hand and foot, just like waiting.
Yeah, because you're a female, and you should have all your emotions together.
And that's what we're supposed to do. It's what you're supposed to do.
Right.
And that's kind of what it was put. And I said, well, I'm still going to go. And so I told them I'm still going to go. And that really messed up my home life for a long time. My brother didn't talk to me for about 2 years.
Right.
He didn't come to my college graduation. I ended up having a complete mental breakdown and drove back from North Carolina. I was like, I can't do this. Everybody's mad at me. My mom's upset with me. And so...
Well, that's horrible, like having your support unit like all of a sudden turn on you just because you're trying to actually, do something with your life.
Right.
I mean, to be honest.
Well, yes, and it's been this way, kind of this thing my whole life. Every time I try to step out of this state, something happens. Something pulls me back. So anyway, and I will eventually leave the state. I love Texas. It's
that gravitational pull of Longview, Texas. Yeah. It's like a black hole.
Yeah,
It'll pull
and to
you
have
in.
to go back there of all places, I
Yeah.
do not want to go back there.
I hear the view there is pretty long. I hear it's not short.
Good one, Chad.
I bet it's a dad
How
joke.
did you I mean,
that was brilliant, dude.
Yeah.
Thank
Genius.
you. Thank you for.
Thank you guys. I've been studying stuff. I did a lot of studying.
Right.
So anyway, so I ended up just packing.
See, Chad's like a child, so you just have to just ignore him sometimes.
The good thing is I came into this knowing Chad.
Yeah. So,
yeah.
I would think if you didn't know Chad and he came in to do this, you'd be like, what is going on with that guy?
Right, dude. Is he on like
this is Chad.
Spectrum or yeah?
He created his own spectrum. It's
the
Chad
spectrum of love.
Right.
So I came back and I was so depressed. I mean, like beyond depressed. I just felt like, everything that I'd worked for was just done.
Sure.
And so that's where I allowed myself to become very vulnerable to other things. And I got a job in Tyler.
Okay.
Which is a shithole.
The Tyler Rose.
It is a shithole.
Right.
You go Tyler Rose, and I'm like, it's a shithole. It was the most negative place I've ever lived. It seemed like that's where a lot of people that were kind of in that mentality of like, just making it through life ended up. And that's where I was exposed to other substances for the first time.
It's like I call it like the Austin Jr. It is now. You know, I don't know what it was like back then, but no, not Denton. I'm talking about Tyler.
Tyler?
Oh, yeah.
I haven't been back there in so long, and I don't care to go there. But so I just remember like I got a job in the mall working retail because that's what I've been doing at the Gap, and so I was doing management, doing that, and then I was going out every single night, just doing whatever. I had no self-worth anymore. I just was like, F it, like and so I remember this guy came over. I had sort of made a friendship, but it's not a friendship. But anyway, I'd made acquaintance with him, and he came over to my apartment, and we were just talking, and he said, "Hey, if you want to stay up late, I left something for you on the toilet."
Okay.
Which I mean, like now,
that's cryptic
looking back,
and weird. Yes.
So cryptic. Yeah, on the toilet.
On the toilet. There is something that will keep you up all evening. And then I'm just gonna see you later. And then,
and then he left. And then he left. And I can't even tell you that guy's name. I don't know if that's like I blocked a lot of things for a reason, but it took a day or two for me to like get to the point where I was just like, you know what, fuck it, I'm gonna try it. Right. And that was the beginning of my downward spiral.
So what was
shout out 9 Inch Nails?
What was
shout out to Trent?
Shout out Trent.
What was the gift the elf on the shelf bestowed you on the toilet?
It was ice.
Okay. All right.
It was ice, and it was just this crystallized stuff I've never seen before.
Did you even know what to do with it?
Nobody told me what to do. There was no instruction manual.
I was like, it's like I get this bag, and I'm like, what do I do with this?
Yeah, it's a baggie of it. We don't have the not that you want to Google search how to take meth.
You sure?
But I figured it out, and it was a really, really sad, messed up period of my life.
And did you smoke it? What did you do? Snorted it. Okay.
Yeah, every once in a while I would ingest it, but normally I would just snort it. And man, the fact that this is still here.
Right.
After all those chemicals, dude, that shit burns, dude.
Yeah. And I've got a lot of stories related to because once you enter that world.
Oh, yeah.
Welcome. I mean, I'm coming from East Texas, Blonde Bob,
right?
And I am now entered the world
of the shadow people,
and I wish we were talking about vampires,
of the copper thieves and shadow people.
I would much rather hang out with vampires than the people that I ended up hanging out with for the next probably 1.5 to 2 years.
Yeah,
and I was an active user for about 1.5 to 2 years.
And so you were drinking and using meth?
I drank and then used meth,
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
And then did you ever graduate from just snorting? Did you ever do where you shot it up or smoked it?
I never liked smoking anything, it's so...
Your body's a temple.
It's so contrite to say these things when you're a user. I'm like, I do have my limits. Right. But I was like, I will never shoot up.
Oh, yeah.
I had set that goal for myself. Like, I'm not ever gonna do that.
Well, there's tons of people that say, oh, I'm never going to shoot up.
And they do.
And then they go, I'm never going to shoot up where people can see it.
Correct.
Then I'm never going to shoot up on like the side of the road. Yeah. Then I'm never going to shoot up.
I'm never going to use my neck.
I'm never going to use my neck. I'm never just going to dig for veins in my hands. I'm never going to, you know what I mean? I'm never going to skin pop.
That was... Yeah. So, and then, but I was around a lot of people that were actively shooting up in front of me, and I witnessed a lot of terrible things, and I was in a lot of really, really terrible. I mean, if you like meth houses, you know, like where they're actually cooking, like a cookhouse,
right? Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's
while
good
I'm
times.
like working at a mall, like it's just so. It was just such a weird, dark period of my life that I really haven't talked about to anybody.
Okay.
There's a few friends that know, but I also think it's important to
raise
to
awareness.
talk about
Yeah,
it
of
because
course.
people see me now and they assume I'm a certain way,
Right.
and that I had this I went to college and then
Then you immediately went to NPR to use your radio
I
voice.
used my radio voice. Yes, NPR if you're listening, or ASMR. I use my ASMR, but yeah, I think people probably think that I'm a certain way, and there's a lot of just dirt and stuff
There's
along
a
the way.
dark
There's a lot of
past.
darkness
Right.
along the way, and people go through darkness, and it doesn't have to be, everybody's darkness is different.
Right.
Yeah.
But
Sure.
it's important to shine some light on it because
Agreed.
they need people to associate with that are relatable, that can say, I understand, maybe I didn't do the exact same thing, but
Yeah. Or
I mean-
maybe there's somebody out there that is experiencing this and then can learn from, that's kind of my hope is that we see, somebody sees it and goes, oh, that's me. Okay, cool. Maybe I have a problem or, something like that.
Yeah, and like the whole idea of darkness is like if you have a closet door that's shut, it's pretty dark, right, in that closet, no lights on. But the second you open the door or you turn the light on, it's no longer dark. And it's just like talking about like all the dark shit.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's cool to shed light on it.
Why do you keep talking about closets, Chad? Are you in the
Jesus.
closet?
Dude, I'm in the middle of some dude. Whatever.
Prolific.
Yeah, dude.
that's a whole nother segue
That's a
that
whole
we
other
can
Do you
make
guys smell
too.
that? I think he needs to change his diaper.
So yeah, that was
She did that exactly right. You nailed that. Like all you did is go,
that was my segue. So yeah, that was there's a lot more to it, but
Right.
that is the brief time period.
Okay. Well, I tell you what, let's throw to commercial awkwardly. We have our good friend Max the Axe
Let's see if this still
with
works.
Lone Star Injury Attorneys.
Somehow it still worked without being in the same folder.
I love it.
I love
Okay.
it. Love that.
Yeah, if you go to thispinklawyer.com, it will take you to Lone Star Injury Attorneys, and he practices in Texas, California, and he will get you the maximum results.
Because his name is Max the Axe.
Exactly.
Yeah.
For
Which is a cool name.
your personal injury needs.
Which is a cool name.
Right.
I said it, Max, not Kelly.
Okay, fair
Kelly
enough.
still hasn't said it.
And I'm not going to.
Kelly doesn't want to say it. But it's a cool name.
You're right.
Everybody should just call Max and be like, hey, Max, they told me to call you and see how you were. Max is a great guy. You guys,
He
should
is a
just
good
call him
dude.
and check in.
He
dude.
is actually going to be on the show when we can schedule that.
Good.
With his.
I haven't seen him in forever.
Yeah, he's a good dude. And then also we have some stuff streaming and also free downloads. And I think we've got it.
Yeah, we do. We're going to start with the
Somewhere.
Falcon remix.
Activate. Activate.
Well, the girl from Arcade Fire does sound a lot like Bjork.
Ah,
But
nice.
I just want to take a couple of seconds to acknowledge the fact that one of these songs is Falcon Offland. He just celebrated
he just had 12
12
years sobriety.
And he
did
still
the
makes
remix
house
for
music.
Lone
He did a
Star.
remix. And
Yeah.
then I also want to talk about the Arcade Fire. The Arcade Fire remix. We did it. It's for free. It's on soundcloud.com/Kelly Reverb. And there's also some other remixes. And we also have some other stuff that we are working on. And currently, oh my God, my number one favorite thing in the entire United world got to be Madonna. Oh, fuck, I love Madonna so much. There's a song coming out from her. And then there's also some Depeche Mode with bleeps and bloops and all of the electronic elements that your body so desires. And they are all for free. Thank you. That was good.
That's good. Yeah, I'll edit all that out.
No, you
so,
won't.
Yeah, it's all
No, you
good.
won't.
Yeah, but be sure follow us on SoundCloud, and then you have a YouTube channel. So
I do have a YouTube channel.
They can follow Chad Lamons on YouTube.
Yeah, man.
But then also while you're there, be sure and follow this Pink Cloud.
Yeah, man.
Right?
Yeah,
Right.
man.
Right. So we were talking about Ice on the Toilet.
Yeah, it's the next
and,
hit. It's the next hit single by Chad, "Ice on the Toilet."
Yeah,
He's gonna make that-
No,
make that-
actually,
Don't tell me with a good time.
Actually, Chad's is actually called "Guys on the Toilet." Yeah, but
Oh, wow. That was so good.
it was
That was
actually
good.
pretty
You
good.
pressed the wrong button because you don't know how to operate the camera.
But anyway, so yeah.
So yeah,
Guys on the Toilet by Chad.
Guys on the
Lamont.
toilet, eyes on the toilet, whatever.
Guys in the Toilet by Chad Lamont.
That's what you get for that.
Oh, okay. Cool. And moving well, hold on, moving on to the grown-up side of the
Moving
table.
on. Chad.
Says the guy who just said Chad's new single is Ice and Guys on the
Guys
Toilet.
on the toilet.
Back to the grown-up side of the table.
Okay, so where do you want me to continue on
Please,
with the
wherever you would like to pick up.
Okay, so I was actively using for 2 years.
Right. And it was did it just stay with meth and didn't branch out from there? Or?
Nah, I tried other things. I wasn't really a fan of cocaine. I know that sounds all this sounds so stupid to say now.
When you
Not
do
really.
Ice,
But,
though,
like,
it makes
when-
sense.
Well,
'cause-
yeah, no, because ice, like if you're already
done
on
that,
super cocaine, yeah.
And then cocaine. It was just.
It's like, why do this for 15 minutes when I can do this for
Literally,
5 days?
I was so angry. It made me so angry.
Right.
And yeah, but I never got into heroin or anything like that. But,
Right.
But I stuck mostly just to meth to that area for a couple years. And nobody really ever said anything about it. Like I saw my family here and there. They had to know. They had to know. I mean, my mom said something about me losing weight, which obviously you do because you don't sleep and you don't eat anything except for meth. So, and your face, like
Yeah, you
my
start getting
skin
a little
looked-
gaunt.
My skin was awful. I had all these
Now,
sores.
how are the teeth?
My teeth are good.
Yeah?
My
Hell
teeth
yeah.
are-
Wow,
I mean, I
okay.
still have them.
Yeah.
I mean,
Well,
I'm
a
sure
lot of people don't. When
they could be better, but
They get those summer teeth. You know what the
yeah.
summer teeth
Yeah, I
are,
do.
right?
I know what the summer teeth.
Summer here, summer there. Yeah. Sorry.
It's okay, but I came out pretty good for somebody that used
Yeah,
so
no, your
much.
teeth look actually
My
great.
skin,
Yeah.
like everything, but it was rough. It was rough there, and I lost a couple jobs. I was kind of at the lowest of the low, just like pretty much houseless, living in a cookhouse. Like in a walkway with like super sketchy people walking by us.
Right.
While you're not really sleeping, but you're trying to.
Right.
Yeah, it's just-
And hoping the house doesn't blow up
and while you're
at
like
the same
tweaking
time.
out, trying to play like Bejeweled, that had just come out, and so like, you're just like you're just playing Bejeweled for hours on end,
Right.
thinking that you're gonna.
I'm gonna win.
Yeah, or that you're gonna like write a novel, but you really can't do anything. So,
Right.
anyways, I did that, and then I just got really tired of it.
Uh-huh.
I wanted to stop. My boyfriend at the time did not really want to stop.
Okay.
And so I just made the choice to completely like cold turkey it. But I did like a writing of like just like it was pretty tragic, and I still have it somewhere where it's just me sitting down and saying help me over and over again, and I just wrote it like Red Rum style.
Oh wow. Yeah. Yeah.
For pages,
Shout out The Shining.
Yeah. Right. Tony's
Tony.
not-
Shout out to Tony.
It's Tony's not here. Yeah.
And that was it.
Yeah.
I did that, and that was it, and I stopped. And
Okay, so now that's pretty rare that somebody can just write down "help me" a bunch of times and then decide to quit
Yep.
and actually quit
Yep.
methamphetamines because they're obviously highly addictive.
Yeah.
And I mean, so there was no kind of intervention. There was it was only
me.
you and you just going, "Hey, I'm going to stop."
It was me, and I'd already, kind of been alienated from every healthy person in my life at that point. And
Right.
so I was in the depths with people that were also in the depths,
Mm-hmm.
and so it was kind of my only way out.
Right.
And so, I asked for universal help from whatever is up there. And a few months later, I was pregnant.
Okay. All right.
And I didn't know I was pregnant for the first 5 months. I was one of those.
Okay.
But
Well, you were also super skinny,
I was
too.
super
so,
skinny,
yeah.
and we found out that my uterus faces backwards, which is a
Okay.
thing. And
Fun.
so the baby was growing that way.
Okay.
So I didn't show until 6 months
Oh, wow.
with him. But I think it was
It was the Brazilian butt lift.
BBL.
It was my
Brazilian Brazilian
BBL.
kidney lift.
The kidney lift.
Yeah.
But I think that was on purpose, because if I'd not, and that's a whole other story, and I don't know if
Okay.
you want to know that, but
Yeah, of course.
when I found out that I was pregnant with him, the guy I was with didn't want him.
Right.
And so he made an appointment.
Ah, okay.
He made
Well,
the
how old
appointment.
were you at that time?
I was 24,
Okay.
25,
Yeah.
25.
Okay.
He made the appointment, and he was like, we're not doing this. And
Right.
he got me up and drove me up to Dallas the next day.
Mm-hmm.
And I went in, and I had that whole experience too, to keep to my chest. That is not,
Oh, yeah.
that is
For
not,
sure.
that is a traumatic experience for
Right.
anyone to go through, to go to one of those clinics and deal with the people yelling at you outside.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I remember specifically sitting in the waiting room, and there was a Mark Wahlberg movie on, and that is not the comfort you want before you're going in for some kind of traumatic procedure.
Do you remember which movie it was?
It wasn't anything. I was going to say nothing good, but
Right.
I mean, there's a handful.
He's got some good
All
stuff.
right.
There's a handful.
Right.
It wasn't The Happening, which is the worst.
Right.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that fucking movie. Yeah.
Yeah. That was pretty bad.
Blackwater scene. Okay. But anyways, and they take me back. You pay your money up front. It's it's like that. And
Yeah.
then, this really non-feeling lady comes in, sticks a wand up me, and she said, "We can't do it." And I said, "What do you mean?" She said, "You're too far along." And I was 21 weeks.
Oh, okay.
And so, and then they still told me, "You can go to a place in San Antonio and have it taken care of." I said, "No way.
Right.
No way." I mean,
Yeah.
they could tell me
fully formed.
I found out I was
sexually
pregnant and that it was a boy,
Uh-huh.
Within the same week.
Right.
So it was wild. And the guy that I was with just had to deal with it. He didn't want it. And that was a whole nother, part of life.
Well,
that was really, really
so then what
painful.
happens after they say it's too far along, then you go ahead and have the
I just, I was like, I've got to, there's no doubts about it. Like, I'm going to have this baby.
Right.
This is meant to be.
Was there
I did
any
that.
complications because your uterus was backwards?
But the complications were, one, I hadn't had any prenatal health, so
Okay.
I didn't know
Right.
what was, and then he came early.
Okay.
So I literally put his bedding in his crib and went into early labor. He was 33 weeks, so he was
Oh, wow.
7 weeks early.
Okay.
So you do the math, 21 weeks. So
Sure.
I was like pregnant for 2.5 months that I knew of.
Right.
So I had that time to process it. I went and told my mom in a public place.
So she didn't throw anything at you.
Shout out to Casa Olay in Longview.
By the way, hey mom, I'm pregnant.
I mean, and I get it. It's a terrible person to be pregnant with, and I was in a really bad place, but that was what, like you said, that's what was meant to be. Like, that was what was supposed to happen right then.
Right.
And I don't know if you've met my oldest son, but he is brilliant, and he was meant to be here, and
Right.
it was meant to happen for me. And I had a second son with the same crap person. And,
Oh wow, you went back in.
I even married.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Married the same guy.
I
huh?
married that guy.
Okay.
I felt like that's what I was supposed to do. That's a whole thing.
Okay.
But anyway, married that guy.
Had 2 kids with
Had
him.
2
Married
kids
him.
with
Well, now
him.
was he actively using while you weren't using, or what?
When I was pregnant
Yeah.
with the first one, he was still using. And
Uh-huh.
he was using other things. And I remember vividly, there was a point where he said, "Hey, there's some acid in the freezer. Do you want to do it? I can't usually get it." And I'm like, "No, I don't
Right.
want to do it." And I didn't know I was pregnant, but it was just something looking out for me.
Yeah.
I didn't do anything.
Okay.
I quit drinking and everything. I think I tried a sip of margarita and barfed, which I should have.
Right.
I should have known something
Right.
was up.
Yeah.
But I think probably part of me was in denial and just wanted to let it happen. Because I needed that kid.
Okay.
So anyway, I married him. He's a piece of shit.
Shout out
piece of shit.
I had my second kid, who is wonderful. My boys are just phenomenal. And when I had my second one, I had a stroke.
Oh wow!
God damn.
I know. I'm telling you, this could have been a 2-parter. You didn't realize all the onion
Right.
layers with me.
Yeah.
But so the week after I had him, I had a stroke and I like flatlined. I was in ICU for like 3 weeks.
Holy shit! And then how far apart was the kid? Like, so you had.
So I had the first one in 2006 and the second one in 2009.
Oh, okay. So 3 years, huh?
Yeah, and I tried like during that time to work it out. You know, try to help this other person get their stuff together.
The piece of shit.
Which you can't do.
Right.
But
you can't, and that's what I always say is you can't make somebody.
But there's also the
you
part
can't make somebody want it.
Correct.
They have
But
to
there was
want it
also
for
the part of
themselves.
me that I knew that's the kid's dad, and so I wanted the kid's dad to be the best version of himself. That
Of
even
course.
if I didn't stay with him forever,
Right.
I didn't want him to have a shitty dad.
Sure.
You know, I can have a shitty partner and I can kick him to the curb, but like the shitty dad, I wanted to help with that as much as possible.
Right.
So anyway, I have the second one. I have the stroke. I'm in the hospital for several weeks, and I had to like relearn to like bathe, and like I lost like feeling in my arms, and I lost my speech, and it was a whole thing for.
Oh wow! Okay,
Yeah, it was
so
like a rehab.
hardcore.
So I had to move back in with my parents after that, and that was in 2009. So I had him in February. I moved back home with POS
Right.
in the summer, and he said he could not handle the weight of being the breadwinner,
Okay.
right? And so he needed me to go back to work. And so, mind you, I'm still working up my stamina to be able to just like move.
Yeah, you're
Right?
you're just now
but the
grasping
pressure-
the English language
Yeah,
again.
the pressure is too much for him.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. So I get a job. I have to get up early to go to that job, and it's a retail management job. Cool.
Right.
And there was a night where I needed to go to bed, and he wanted to go out with his friends. He was going to play poker with his friends. And I was home with the 7-month-old and this 3-year-old. And he doesn't come home when he said he was going to. He said he'd be home by like 10.
Right.
And 12 comes around, and I have to be up at like 6:30 the next day. And he finally rolls in, and he is just drunk. And I was like, you didn't call me back. I really need to go to bed because I've got to get up and go to work. And he unleashed all anger that he's been holding in over the past few years of probably not wanting kids, not wanting to be with me, feeling trapped. And I'm not making excuses for his behavior, but he just wailed on me for probably 20 minutes straight.
Oh wow.
And I had to make the choice of what to do. And you think like it's an easy choice, right? He's a piece of shit.
Yeah.
But it's when you're in it and you've been with that person for so long, and that's kind of your normal.
Yeah.
You make excuses, you justify, and you're like, what should I do?
Right.
But it's like 1 a.m, and I go and and mind you, there've been other circumstances where I didn't realize it, but he was abusive, like
verbally
taking
or
my phone from me, so I
Right.
couldn't call for help whenever we would get into arguments and things like that. He was just very controlling.
Sure.
It would corner me and just like make me hunker down, which if
Right.
you know me now, I'm a very like assertive, strong person.
Sure.
But I was broken. This is the most broken that I was. He didn't know that I'd hid my phone under my leg, my other leg. So while he was wailing on this side of me, I had my phone under me on this side. And so I let him yell at me and berate me and tell me all these terrible things about myself. And then he told me to go to my room like I'm a child.
Yeah.
And I did, and I went to the bathroom, and I tried calling all my friends. Nobody responded, and I was just, what do I do? And I called the cops.
Sure.
Because I said, what would I have told my friends to do?
Right.
If they were doing the same thing. And it's sad that that's what it took to get me to that point.
Right.
But I was so accustomed to being treated
Well,
poorly.
and I mean that's kind of a different kind of an addiction, really. I mean, like you get to where this shitty relationship is like a norm for you, like you said, and that sucks that the whole physical thing happens.
Yeah.
But you're used to operating at such a low level that that's
That's norm.
just him.
Yeah, and I mean, and there was still drinking through all of this. I mean, I was an active drinker. The only time I didn't drink, the only time I was sober was when I was pregnant.
Right.
And, at least I had the wits about
Did you
me.
ever go back to the meth?
No.
No.
Never
Okay.
again.
All right.
So I stopped that with my little whatever and screaming, and then I quit that. But alcohol was a lot harder.
Sure.
That was a multiple decade relationship that I had to say adieu to.
Oh shit! I
What?
put the camera on me. My bad. You're good.
On me.
No. I put it on me. I was adjusting it or something.
A little cameo.
All right.
With Chad.
Hey,
I'm still
everybody. Here's
Still here.
Chad. Say
I'm
hi,
still here.
Chad.
Hey guys, I'm still here.
So there's a lot of trauma, a lot of things, and alcohol was consistent through all of this. And
Well, I mean, to deal with your reality,
Yeah.
I mean, throw a little alcohol at it.
Sure.
Hey, it's fine.
sure,
It's
and
cool.
it's like
It's good.
you're taking on all of this trauma and shame over the years, like this coat, like I just added on, and I'm just wearing it,
Right.
right? And I keep wearing it.
You're
and-
building your onion suit.
Yeah, my onion suit.
Right.
And it took a long time until a few years ago to finally take that coat off and just show my skin
Mm-hmm.
and go, I am flawed. I've made a lot of poor choices. I'm not proud of a lot of the things that I've done.
Right.
But I can do better.
Sure.
And I owe it to myself. I owe it to my children to do better. And by the way, piece of shit, no longer in the
No
the
longer
life.
in the
No,
orbit.
after
Yeah.
that,
Well, that's good that you got away from that. But so did
Yeah.
you have any kind of, so like the police show up
Mm-hmm.
and then like, I mean, did you go to any kind of, housing for the women and children, like
No.
as far as battered house?
mind you, I told you I was raised like middle class. Like my parents are in the same town. I
Right.
have a wonderful support system. I mean,
Right.
I was never wanting or needing for anything, but I still kind of crave these toxic situations. And I don't know what. There's a lot of psychology, I'm sure, to that.
Right.
But they were right down the road when that
Right.
happened, and that was one of the worst phone calls I ever had to make. So when they came and got him, they looked at me and looked at, like the bruising and all that stuff, and they said, take your kids to the car, and I go and sit in my, what did I have? A Taurus.
Okay.
Hell yeah.
I had a
Hey, there you go.
Taurus. I had a Taurus with
Right.
a spoiler.
Oh, hell
Sporty
yeah,
mom.
dude.
Nice.
I had to trade in my Mustang for
right.
a Taurus when I had my kids.
But you had the spoiler.
But I had the spoiler, so
There
I was
you
still
go.
sporty.
Right.
And I remember seeing him taken away in handcuffs in the rearview mirror, and just crying, and my baby's crying in the back seat, and it's just
Yeah.
it's just one of those moments that I'm gonna live with forever. And that was a big turning point. But I had to call my parents and tell them what happened.
Yeah?
and that was one of the hardest things to have
Well,
to do.
so then what happens after that? So then he just, I mean, does he
He doesn't
try
show
to
up
get,
for visitation.
but does he try to come back and get back in your life, or is he just like,
No, I think it was a good out. I think it was a good out for him.
Right.
He never wanted those kids.
Okay.
And I think we both knew that he didn't want those kids, but he was stuck.
right?
And so that altercation, that situation, set him up for me to file for divorce.
Uh-huh.
And then for him not to show up for any other visitation. Like he showed up twice out of 6 months
Right.
to see the older one. He only saw the baby once.
Mm-hmm.
I quit even telling the older kid that he was coming because it was
Yeah, such a letdown.
it was
all
such
the
a
time,
letdown when
yeah.
he wouldn't show up. And my mom is just like documenting everything. She's a queen.
Yeah.
She hated that guy.
Right.
So she was just, getting
She
all
has
that
the
stuff.
full.
She still has the file.
She has the full dossier.
She's
on
got the
him.
file.
All right.
Yeah.
all right.
It's like, where in the world is Carmen Sandiego? But where is my ex-husband?
All right.
But he was playing disc golf is what he was doing. He was a
Okay.
piece of shit
All
playing
right.
disc golf when he should have been visiting his kids.
Sure.
So anyway,
Shout out to all you piece of shit disc golfers.
this is
Right.
not the best endorsement for
Or disc golf, right?
I had a hard time accepting people when they would tell me they played disc golf. It was an immediate trigger.
Right.
Ugh.
Oh yeah, you piece of shit.
Yeah,
well,
piece of shit.
hey, hold on. Do you smoke meth too? All right.
And so he didn't show for visitation, and we got to the point for the divorce, and the DA called me the day before the divorce and said, we have enough proof. Are you okay with us dropping the charges if he signs over the rights?
Yeah.
And I said, absolutely.
Yeah. There you go.
And he was there in 30 minutes, you guys, to sign the paperwork.
Bet
Right.
it was.
Couldn't show up for visitation, but he could sign over the rights.
Right.
And that just tells you it was the right thing to happen.
Uh-huh.
And not everybody gets that out. A lot of people get like tethered
Yep.
to a toxic person in there. I
Oh,
cannot
yeah.
imagine if these kids had to go to visitation with this person.
Yeah.
They wouldn't be the kids they are today. They're awesome.
Right.
They're doing so well, and things happen for a reason. And I would take that over and over again if it meant this outcome now.
Yeah.
But the alcohol continued after that too.
Okay.
And like you said, it helps numb, it helps deal.
Yeah.
Supposedly, right?
Well, and it's legal. You can get it. They
Yeah.
celebrate it. It's like a normal part of society.
Yeah.
A quote unquote normal,
Correct.
air quote, normal part of society. And it's accepted and celebrated.
But we didn't even get to talk about the 3 times I should have been arrested, but I don't know that we have time for that. So
Well,
I think
I mean, we can go a little long. It's okay.
Can we go a little long?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
I mean, here we go.
Okay, real quick. The top 3 times I should have been arrested. What the fuck?
Hey, that's okay. That's Chad's camera.
No, that's your camera, asshole.
Hold on.
No, it's okay. They'll fix it.
I did that.
No, it's all good.
Here you go.
You got excited about.
I got excited about when I. Okay, so I would say number 3 is I was 20 and I had gone out drinking with friends, and I had a 24-pack of beer in the back seat.
They call that a suitcase.
Yes.
Was it
so-
Keystone?
How did you know?
That's always a good suitcase.
Dude, one time I had a suitcase because I bought a room at the W, right? And we were like 21, 22, something like that. Bought a room at the W with my friends, and we had the 30 rack at Keystone, right? And they were like, I was just trying to walk up with it to the super fancy suite that I bought that was $900 a night, right? And they're like, you can't fucking bring that up there. And I'm like with eight skateboarder friends, and I'm like, okay, cool. So then we put the suitcase into a suitcase and then brought it up.
Smart.
Glad you guys brought that up.
Smart. So I have that in the car. I'm wasted. I dropped this guy off at his apartment. It had been raining, and I have very little memory of this. So obviously driving under the influence. I'm 20, so I'm already driving under the influence, MIP, and I hit a stop sign, spin around. I'm in a ditch. I get I Dukes a hazard out of the car because I can't open my doors.
Window style. Okay.
Out the windows. And I have this vague memory of walking down the median or just crying. This is in Longview. So I'm just walking down the median towards the Exxon sign I can see. And meanwhile, the cops find my car and they call my parents and they're like, hey, do you know where your daughter is?
Right.
We just found her car in a ditch. So I've done a lot of trauma
Right.
with my parents.
Sure.
And then while they were on the phone with my parents, they said, oh, we found her at an Exxon.
Right.
And I just
She was
remember
in transit to an
these,
Exxon.
all of these cops showing up with like vests on and just reaming me out. I didn't get anything.
Yeah.
I didn't get anything. My mom gave me a bath at home and picked all the glass out of my hair.
Right.
Should've
Well,
got-
now technically, because they probably didn't field test you for sobriety, like while you were there.
I mean, they should have, or they
Yeah.
could have.
Yeah.
And I would have, anyways.
Probably.
And
But then that would have been too much paperwork.
right.
Yeah.
And my parents
Yeah.
really, like, they roll up. They're so nice and
Yeah.
normal. And they're probably like, oh, man.
Yeah.
this sucks
Poor
for the-
parents.
Poor
Right.
parents,
Yeah.
right?
Right.
Okay, so I get out of that one. I'm living in Denton. My boyfriend lives in Plano, so I do this like 121 drive from Denton. This is like in 2001.
Right.
Yeah, when it was a 2-lane road.
Yeah, and so I've been, I guess, drinking Presidente margaritas at Chili's,
There you go.
and I was
Shout out Chili's.
shout out.
Shout out
Fuck you, disc
President.
golf pieces of shit.
Right.
I get pulled over in Louisville by a cop. He gives me a warning, just talks to me.
Sure.
I am drunk.
Oh, yeah.
And then I get pulled over again in Plano on Legacy. I remember that. He pulls me out and does a field sobriety test on me. And I didn't tell you, I have epilepsy. And so I'm really used to brain, like all the like testing that they make you do, like motor skills things. So I'm
Sure. So
I'm
you
almost
can ace
cocky.
that.
I'm almost cocky with this guy. I was like, dude, I
Right,
got
yeah.
epilepsy. I was like, I can do this all day. All
Right.
day.
Yeah.
And he's like, whatever, just get to where you're going. Got out of that.
Right.
But this is the worst one.
Okay.
This is when I was actively using meth.
Oh.
I was at a drug house in Fort Worth.
Mm-hmm.
Bad news. And we'd gone to pick up some stuff, and I got sunglasses on. The lady I'm with has sunglasses on. She's got a baggie. And we get in the car, and we're leaving, and a cop pulls up, like, pulls me over.
Right.
And I'm
And
like-
you just got a fresh sack
Yeah.
from the house.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm like, oh, well, this is it. This
Right.
is it.
Sure.
But I got the glasses on, so you can't see my pupils.
Right.
And he said, what are you doing leaving this house? And I said, oh, that's my uncle's house.
Right.
And it's a canine unit.
Ah.
If he had gotten that dog out, I mean, I'm dead in the water.
Right.
And so many things like this. And he was like, it's fine. I'll tell you how to get to 820. I was like, I'm trying to find 820. And he told me how to get there.
Right.
And I went on my way. So many things like this have happened.
Yeah. And would you tell my uncle to have a good time in jail?
Right. I mean, that guy's probably, I'm sure that
Right.
guy's dead now.
Right.
But like, why?
Yeah.
How am I still? So that's why I have to do good things in life.
Sure.
That is a lot of, not because, I mean, I believe in karma and
right.
things like that. And I know I've done a lot of not great, savory things.
Sure.
But I do have a platform now. I have a really great community. And
well, I want to get into that and talk
yeah.
about that. But also, so on the alcohol, how did you stop?
So the alcohol, so I met my husband in 2012.
Shout out Andrew.
Shout out to Andrew.
Right.
And Andrew always drank with me. Andrew's not an active alcoholic, but alcohol was our problem. It caused so many problems with our marriage, problems with me just as a person, me as a parent, and he stuck with me through the whole thing.
Right.
But he was along for the ride, for the good and the bad.
Right.
And so I have made a lot of like not great choices, things that I'm not proud of along the way. And we had fights, and we don't fight. We're not fighters. Well,
right.
I'm a little frisky, but Andrew's not a fighter. And we finally had a point in 2021, where we're just at this local bar that we go to that's right across from the record store. We'd go there every night, and this is what it's like. It's like Cheers. You know how Cheers was like so glorified when we were kids?
Yeah.
Which is really fucked up because if you can walk in and everybody's like, hey, and then they're like, here's your drink.
It's like I say that about like when I start knowing the guy at the liquor store by the first name. I'm like they knew what I was having, and there was some like sort of like comfort to that for the longest time. Like I walked in, and it's like your family, right? Like, you come in, and they're like, "What's up, Katie? Here's your vodka," and it's like I don't even have to ask for it. Right.
And then we got to the point where we were like, I don't think that's a good thing. And we were just sitting there, and it was a Saturday night, and all of our friends were just wasted. And we were kind of like the matriarch, patriarch of downtown. We kind of are.
Right.
We're like the elders and all these
the elder
kids.
states people.
Yeah.
Right.
And everybody was having a really bad night that night, and they were crying and like drama. And we look at each other, and we said, why are we doing this?
Right.
Why are we doing this?
Sure.
And I said, do you want to stop for a while? He's like, yeah, let's stop for a while. And he was like, let's do like a month and see how we can do.
Right.
And it just snowballed from there. I kept getting healthier. The first month or two, rough. Yeah. Really difficult.
Sure.
But Andrew,
do you think you maybe could have benefited from a medical detox situation? Was it that elevated?
Yeah, I mean, I probably should have put some things in, because even along the way,
I always do that, dude. Like, if you're gonna white knuckle it, make sure you're not like. I mean, I always advise the whole medical detox.
Yeah, and there are options for that. I mean, I know that I reached out to my psychiatrist across the years. I would say I think I have a problem, and they would prescribe me some medicine to try to help me. Okay. I can't even remember what it's called, but it makes you nauseous.
In abuse.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. And so, but I would take that for a little bit, and then I'd just get back on it.
Right.
You know? Yeah. And so it took me just, it's the same thing I did with the drugs. It was just like stopping. Yeah. And it was very hard. Yeah. Until it wasn't hard.
So was it harder, would you say, for meth or alcohol?
I think alcohol was more of a long-term love affair, and so that is harder to say goodbye to because you have so many parts of your life that revolve around it. My social was around it. My sleep was around it. My intimacy was around it. Yeah. Everything revolved around alcohol. Yeah. I had to relearn how to fall asleep. I had to relearn how to want to, be intimate with my husband. Right. Any of those things were related to alcohol, and it was like a complete reset. Right. So it was a major process. Right. Major process.
Yeah, for sure. And then but what's funny is like you can actually sleep. You know what I mean? No, because like with the alcohol, it was always
it's terrible sleep too.
Yeah, it's like the worst sleep ever. And it's just like, yeah, it's not really even happening, to be honest.
Yeah,
I mean,
and just like appreciating not having hangovers and being present
sure.
for my kids. I had a lot of guilt there that I had to process. You know, and I'm familiar with the steps. I didn't go through the step process, but I'm familiar with a lot of them. And there are karmic steps too, and that's kind of more what I subscribe to.
Right.
And a lot of those are similar, which
Right.
is like, you give what you get what you give. So
right.
that's why I'm putting good into the community and into the universe, because I want to get that back.
Right.
I believe in being accountable for my actions, but not wallowing in that guilt and shame, because that's not going to do me any good.
Sure.
I've done some shitty things. I have not been the best parent, but I'm a great parent now.
Sure.
So just things
well,
like that.
it was a journey, and it took you a while to get there. So how old are the kids now?
14, 15, 18, 18.
Oh, wow. Okay. So wait, you picked up a couple along the way.
Picked up a couple along the way.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Okay.
I had 2 boys. He had 2 girls.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Well, there we go. And now we're one big happy family.
Yeah.
So, let's talk about, you were talking about the community, and you're doing good stuff in the community. I know
Goddamn right.
Yeah, I know you have a record store,
do.
and you and I can go down a rabbit hole forever on
We
that
could.
one, because I worked at Bill's Records,
Yep.
which is world famous.
Do you have
and
any Olivia Newton-John?
There was a guy
And
that
I
used to
loved
go in.
Bill.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and he was a good friend of mine.
Yep.
Not only, from the time I started working there in the 80s, and then, he was just one of those good guys that you always stayed in touch with and was always real genuine.
Yeah.
But then, I guess that was a little bit of an influence on you. And then I don't know what made you want to start your record store. And
So
let's talk about that.
So the record collection started in my teens, right?
Sure.
I got my parents' records, and I was always obsessed with that form of media. Even when I was a little kid, so I was born in '79. So like I had Disco Duck and Mousercise and that kind of stuff.
Right. Sure.
And so I have really fond memories associated with that. And so I've just been collecting along the years, and then when I opened Groovy Coop first, and I had a record section in it.
Okay.
It was imperative.
Now, what is Groovy Coop?
So Groovy Coop is my feel good store. It's my good time, hippie.
Okay, and that's in McKinney.
It's in McKinney.
Okay.
So I opened that one 9 years ago.
That's crystals and
It's crystals. It's some woo woo. But
Funny socks.
It's fuck you socks.
right.
And also a lot of self help stuff, and we have
Okay.
we have sobriety stuff too, and that is
Okay.
hard to find.
Okay.
By the way,
Yeah.
looking for sobriety gifts that are not lame.
Yeah.
That is
Right.
hard. So I get to when you come in my stores, you know who I am.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I represent.
Right.
And so, but when I first opened Groovy Coop, we had the record section because it was important to me that we had music.
Sure.
And then, but I always knew that I wanted a separate record store, and just waiting for the time in downtown McKinney for a spot to come open, which was hard, but it happened during COVID.
Right.
And so that spot came open during COVID, and we jumped on it.
Okay. And then so from the Groovy Coop, the record section grew into
To
Red Zeppelin. And so why did you choose Red Zeppelin?
My father-in-law.
Okay.
I was stagnant with names. Usually I'm real creative, but I just was having a really hard time coming up with a name. And I still have it in my notes, all these names that we come up with, which would be really funny to do something with someday.
Right.
But I texted him. I was like, hey, do you have any ideas for this record store name? And he sent me several, some not so great.
Right.
But Red Zeppelin struck with me because I love Led Zeppelin. And to me, Led Zeppelin is kind of the starter of like heavy metal.
Sure.
So that's like, to me, where heavy metal originates.
Them and Black Sabbath.
Yeah, Black Sabbath. Yeah, but like that's and so it was very special.
You
to
should
me.
have had the store name Red Sabbath instead.
Red Sabbath. I don't know how that would go.
Yeah, right.
Like blood.
Yeah, right. Yeah. True.
But yeah, and that was the beginning. And I had red hair. I wore a lot of red lipstick back then, so it was a little more tongue in cheek. Like it was more on the nose.
Gotcha.
With that, which now I guess it would be like blue.
Right. Blue Zeppelin.
Blue Monday.
Right.
Or
Blue
Goddamn
Monday.
right.
Yeah.
That would be a sick record store
Yeah.
name.
Yeah.
So
well, that's cool. So
it's a snapshot of where I was at that point when we named it. It's the same thing with the Groovy Coop. Would I name that now?
right.
Probably something different, but it's where I was 9 years ago, and that's where I was 4 years ago.
Right.
So,
And are they both doing well?
both doing great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love it. Wait, you said that I love it. The analogy that McKinney is like the Truman Show.
It is. It is like the Truman Show.
Downtown McKinney for sure.
And
Yeah.
I think somebody told me the other day that I'm the mother of downtown, and I take that as a big compliment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you walk down the street and it's like, yeah, it is like that. Like, hello,
Right.
hi, like, hey, like it's just every day. It's
Right.
the same people. It's, and it's, it's very, very quaint, and it means a lot to me because it's kind of like a family,
Right.
family atmosphere. But it's gotten very quirky over the years, a lot more quirky.
Right.
When I
You're
first
doing
opened-
live bands and stuff, and that's how a little Chadwick came
Correct.
into your store, right?
Well, and 9 years ago when we opened Groovy Coop, there was nothing
Right.
like left of center in McKinney.
Yeah.
Like everything was.
I like how you're bringing that to the community, though, and it's cool that the
Yeah.
community's actually supporting it.
It
So-
took it was another slow burn. That was
Yeah.
a slow one. It took a while, and we still get naysayers. Because I am
Right.
a big LGBT activist.
Okay.
We've had queer stuff since the beginning, since
Right.
we opened.
Sure.
And we get naysayers every once in a while for things like that.
Right.
The witchcraft.
Goddamn rainbow.
The witchcraft stuff. Like
Right.
some people don't like that. That's fine. Just don't come in.
Yeah.
Just don't
It's
come
that simple.
in. Go
Yeah.
to a Live Laugh Love.
Go to 7-Eleven.
Go to one of the boutiques that sells the signs.
Right.
Family.
Go to a pageant store.
Hashtag blessed.
All right.
Too blessed to be stressed.
Too blessed to be
Hey, so
stressed.
real quick, like wrapping up,
Yeah.
let's go with, what advice would you give to somebody out there that's in a toxic relationship? Because did you realize that it was a shitty relationship the entire time?
Are you talking about with alcohol?
I'm talking
Or
about with POS and alcohol.
Fucking disc golfing piece of shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've had multiple toxic relationships.
We'll put his contact in the description below, and everybody can go say hi to him.
Yeah.
No.
It's hard. And I have a big heart for. I had a support system when I left. And I see women that are in relationships like that, or men. I mean, people just in relationships.
Yeah,
that,
just
that
toxic
are,
relationships,
that are toxic
period,
or
yeah.
volatile. And if you don't have anybody to support you, how do you ever leave? Because I knew I had support, and it was still hard for me to leave.
Sure.
So I can't imagine what it's like when that person can hold things over your head, like money or security or things like that,
Right.
and victimize themselves. To, a lot of times they're narcissists. So,
Right.
what I would say is find support in the community. It is there. Whatever community you're in, there's generally some sort of shelter
Right.
or something that can help.
Sure.
And then talk to people, because the more you talk about it, the more you find out that other people are dealing with very similar things. And same with
Right.
with sobriety.
Well, I know there's a good resource in that community, Chad, and if you want to shout them out.
Which one? Shepherd's Inn?
No. I'm talking about in McKinney. In McKinney, where you went, Chad. Hi, Chad.
Oh,
Where did
yeah,
you
yeah,
go?
like Life Path Systems, Grace
No,
to Change, all
Grace
those
to
people.
Change, yeah.
Yeah.
I was
Grace
going
to
to
Change.
say shout out Grace to Change.
Yeah,
Yep.
shout out to all
But-
those
but then
people.
also
there's
there-
a bunch of other ones.
there's
There's also the Samaritan Inn, which
Yeah.
is a great one for,
Okay.
for women and maybe
Right.
not good relationships or just trying to
Right,
start over
and then
get out.
and in Dallas there's Nexus, and there's also Maggie's House.
Yeah.
So there's
Yeah.
a bunch of resources out there. But
But like I said, just talk about it.
yeah,
Don't be ashamed, because it is happening.
More
It's
often than
happening.
anybody knows.
yeah,
And you look, it can happen. It can happen to me. It can happen to Chad. It can happen to anybody. So don't assume. I would say quit making assumptions about people too, because you
right.
know,
The people that you think have their shit together, not so much.
or they
Yeah.
didn't. It
Or they
was-
didn't. Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Exactly. Well, and then that's why I do this show, just to kind of
Yeah.
give a cross section, because it's not, not everybody looks like Chad, and is it?
It's just incredibly
Which is-
strikingly
which is-
handsome
Right.
which is
with
so
some awesome
unfortunate.
3D tattoo
Right.
scars, dude. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah, dude. Not everybody looks like me. Goddamn right.
But yeah. So, any shout outs you'd like to give, or
And what are your future events like?
yeah,
Okay, so I've got Mystical Market. So I told you I
Oh,
did.
wrong one.
Oh, Chad. Hey.
I'm gonna be running sound for that, dude. I don't know. I hit the wrong button. I tried to
Chad's
hit the
doing
rim
sound
shot.
for it, so he
Right.
just like dogged on his own event.
Yeah, dude.
So-
It'll be sick. I'm playing it too.
Yeah,
Right.
Mystical Market is the 25th, 26th of this month.
Yeah,
th-
this
and-
should air right before that.
Yeah, so that's at Mitchell Park in downtown McKinney. And so
Okay.
that's a pop up that we do 3 to 4 times a year
Okay.
of like creatives. We do live music,
Mm-hmm.
food trucks, and just try to bring out a more, magical, creative, wide, more broadened community
Sure.
there. And so it's a good time. And then we do shows at the shop about once a month.
Right.
And so I think we've got another one coming up May 18th, which this will be after that, but there will be another one.
Okay.
And then we've got TMR, Texas Music Revolution, which I've got. You're doing the sound for the record store?
Yeah, by the
Yeah,
way,
which
you're doing
one?
the sound. You just
Yeah.
didn't know it yet.
So we have a show. We have shows going on in the record store.
Where can they look all this stuff up?
If you follow Red Zeppelin Records on Instagram, that's where you see all
Okay.
this stuff, all this kooky stuff
On
that
the
we're
gram.
doing. Yeah, for Mystical Market, if you follow Groovy Coop, we post all the stuff going on with that.
Okay, cool.
But yeah, and then just shout out to my community. Shout out to all of the people who have encouraged me to do more things in the community, because for the longest time I assumed that I wouldn't be taken seriously.
Right.
For a variety of reasons, but I can go out to events and get hugs from so many people now, and I feel like it's like a point where I can now make a change in the community. Besides just having the stores, like
Right.
I can help maybe change the direction of some things that
Yeah.
are more pertinent for future.
Well, I mean, it's to be honest, like, going to a record store and stuff, it's kind of like therapy anyways,
Yeah.
and a lot of people just go in there and just like, I mean, the whole tactile thing of holding the vinyl and looking at the artwork and,
Well, and my heart's with the youth. Like
Yeah.
I have a big heart for the youth of our community and giving them a safe space. And so both Groovy and the record
Right.
store give them a place to come and be themselves. They can talk to us about stuff or not
Right.
talk to us. And it's beautiful. It's nice to see.
Right.
And so I'm happy to help with that.
to be,
Hell
yeah.
And shout out to all your employees, man. They know who they are. Hell yeah.
Delayed.
Right.
Yeah, I do this. It's a mess.
It's a little
dude.
behind, but I do appreciate you, being so open and
Yeah.
sharing, and hopefully, this message will find someone and resonate with them and help them.
Absolutely.
So
Yeah, and I'm
you
happy
know.
to talk to anybody. And
yeah, and then
always-
you do a podcast too, right?
Yeah, for Red Zeppelin. But
Okay, for the record
it's-
store?
Yeah, it's
Okay.
on hiatus right now.
I gotcha.
You understand that.
Yeah.
And then shout out to David Byrne.
Shout out to
there
David
we
Byrne,
go.
man.
Once in a lifetime. I love it. I'm gonna find that book and I'll show it to you. I'll send
Okay.
you a shot of it that I had him sign.
Nice.
He was a cool guy. He was.
He's
And
Pico.
Yeah,
I think a Pico.
I think Pico.
I think a Pico
Hey,
guy.
coming up next week, I am excited. We have my friend Mark Gorbaloo, and he is a DJ that has been around since Woodstock. So
Hell yeah.
we've got some history, and you can save the old guy jokes because I will no longer be the old guy.
Yeah, but I can always call you an old guy
That's
just because
true.
you're a piece of shit. That was good. He's like that. I waited.
Yeah.
I waited for the right moment.
No,
on
dude, that just-
now he can't breathe, dude.
No, it just cracked me up because you really went hard on it. Like you're a piece
of
of shit. Like you've been storing that up, dude. Oh, that one hit me, dude. there was a little oomph behind that one,
Yeah,
dude.
dude.
I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
All right,
Hey,
dude.
man, you're welcome.
And thank you for bringing your chin Spanx.
Chin Spanx, dude. Right. Look at that chin right there. Hell yeah.
All right. Well, I appreciate you coming out. We'll definitely have you back on because, I would love to talk record store
Yeah,
all
we
day.
didn't
I
even get
could
to
do
talk
a-
music. We
I
just
could
talked
talk.
toxic
Yeah.
relationships.
Yeah. Right. Toxic relationships and Beth.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And I know ice from random people on the top
On the
of your toilet.
Toilet ice.
Yeah,
Toilet ice.
yeah,
There
that
we go.
toilet ice. You gotta watch out for that toilet ice.
All right. Well, be sure like, subscribe, all that mumbo jumbo, and remember, kids, there is no magic pill for sobriety because if there was, we would all take too many.